everyone, Tracy here with Temperance Tarot, doing days 8 through 14 of Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot. So let's just jump in with day 8. Day 8 was the most worked deck in 2016, and why? And anybody who's watched any of my videos or follows me on Instagram will know it's the Ellis deck. I absolutely love this deck. This is my go-to deck. I reach for it anytime I don't have a clear idea of which deck to use. It's always going to be the Ellis deck. The images are so clear and so evocative. I mean, look at that. That's fantastic, that Five of Swords. And they aren't necessarily people. They don't really have genders necessarily. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. They haven't got a particular, race. I mean, those are blue people. But mostly what I get out of this deck is just the images are so intuitive and just so easy for me to read. And I do have Taylor Ellis, who put together this deck. It's a few years old. He's putting out a new version of this deck that's going to be borderless and is going to be the premium plastic cardstock that I highly, highly recommend, because I'm going to do it again. This is the premium plastic cardstock. That's what the premium plastic cardstock does. So, Ellis deck, definitely my most used deck of 2016, and it will probably be my most used deck of 2017, 2018, and so on. The next question for day 9 was, what are the 5 decks on your top 5 decks on my wish list right now? And so I went out and had a look at my wish list. I've already pre-ordered the Ostara, so I don't know if you count that as being on my wish list or not, but I have definitely pre-ordered that one. There are a couple of tarot decks that are coming out in May that I'm interested in, but I'm not, I probably will get these. They look really interesting. One is the Star Tarot by Kathy McClellan, and the other one is called Vivid Journey Tarot by Jessica Allery. Sorry if I butchered your name. Those are the ones that are on pre-order. Now, for the decks that are the Idiosyncra deck is sort of on my wish list. I think I want to see a little bit more of that one before I decide, as well as the Pagan Otherworlds, which is out. I'm still on the fence about that one. There's one that Veronica Jude showed called the Arcana Universal by a fellow named Diego. I'm on the fence about that one too. These are a little more expensive decks. And then I also have on my wish list the Inner Child cards, and the only reason I haven't pulled the trigger on the Inner Child cards is mostly because I've heard such horrible things about the cardstock, and the Psy cards. So we'll see. I'll probably get some of those. If you've seen the Love of Cards group, you've probably seen the post that I put out there about the decks I purchased this week. There are like 5 of them. So I don't generally have a really long wish list, because if there's something I want, I just go and get it. So there we go. The question for day 10, the most impactful tarot moment of 2016. That was really hard for me to decide on, but I think the most impactful tarot moment of 2016 was joining this tarot community. I had been solitary and been sort of learning tarot on my own for a few years, quite a few years, but very slowly, not taking, great leaps and bounds, but just, a little bit at a time. Maybe once every couple of months I would pull out some cards and pull out a book. But then I decided I wanted to study a little harder, and I went looking for other people who read tarot. I knew that the social media thing existed, but it took me forever. It took me months to find a tarot community. And it was Kelly Bear. She had a video up. I think it was sometime around April last year. May have been a little bit earlier than that, where it was something about the 5 decks you'd grab if your house was on fire or something like that. And I found that video, and that just opened up the tarot community to me, and now I love my tarot community. So that was my most impactful tarot moment of 2016. Day number 11, tarot goals for 2017. I have some definite goals. One thing I want to do is get through a whole entire tarot book. I have such a short attention span. If you've ever seen the movie Up, the dog, squirrel, 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 that's me. I am constantly chasing squirrels because I'm constantly diverted. So I have finished tarot books in the past, but I have a hard time with it. And I've got a couple that I've got the Tarot at the Crossroads that I haven't started, but I really want to read the whole thing. And I want to finish an entire guidebook. I want to read everything in the guidebook, not just go and read the card meanings as I pull a card and am stumped by it or something like that. I want to actually read the whole guidebook and read the introduction and read the spread layouts and everything that the author has had to say. I'm almost through with the Mythic Tarot guidebook, so that's a step in the right direction. So I want to finish a tarot guide. I want to finish the tarot books that I start. I want to keep my blog up to date. Christmas got the holiday season got kind of hectic for me. I've got a new nephew in my life. I've never had a baby in my life before. I've never had my own children. My brother is in his late 40s. I never expected him to have children, but all of a sudden we've got this baby in my life, and sorry, baby's one of the most important things that has cropped up in my life. And between that and my day job and traveling for my day job, I let a month go by without putting anything up for my blog. So I really want to be more fastidious about coming up with things I want to say on my blog and updating my blog. And eventually I would like to start reading for other people. I am not yet reading for other people. My ultimate goal, I'm about 15 years from being able to retire from my day job. And I've got a good day job. I like my day job, so I'm not gonna give it up. But when I do retire, I would like to use tarot to make some little supplemental income. You know, I'm not looking to make a whole living at it. I hope to have some retirement by then. But I'd like to be reading for others and doing tarot as my part-time primary job when I retire. So I'm not in any real hurry, but at the same time, it's about time for me to start reading for other people. So I think probably second half of the year, I'm going to be looking to do, you know, free readings, that sort of thing, just to get started reading for other people. Because I live in the Bible Belt. There are no friends and family that I can read for. I keep that part of my life quiet from them. And that's just a little bit too much personal information, I think. So I think I'll stop there with my tarot goals. I think that's good enough. That's probably more than I can actually accomplish in 2017. So we'll see what I actually get done. Okay, day 12 was Oracle decks you're working with in 2017. Don't have that many. Part of my binge, I think it was yesterday. Part of my binge this week was a new Oracle deck from US Games. That's a botanical Oracle deck, so obviously I'll be working with that one. I want to work more with the lovely Anna Turin's Oracle of Echoes. I got it just before, I think I got it on Christmas Eve, because I did pre-order it. And with Christmas and all, I haven't been pulling cards as much, family obligations and stuff like that. So I definitely want to work with this Oracle deck more. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I so enjoyed watching her creative process as she posted these images out to Instagram. So, Oracle of Echoes. I apologize for the light. It is winter in this part of the world, and my house has no windows. That's an exaggeration, but my house was built in the 70s. It has very few windows, and it's nighttime. Another Oracle deck to work with in 2017, absolutely, the Awakened Soul. The Awakened Soul and the Oracle of Echoes are definitely my two favorite Oracle decks of all the Oracle decks I own. I have quite a few Oracle decks. I don't work with them all that much. I do prefer tarot. I want to begin trying to work Oracle cards into my tarot readings and not just use them for, you know, a draw a day or whatever. There are two more Oracle decks I'd like to work with more. One is the Shaman's Oracle. I believe this one's out of print, but this one's got a really, really great book that goes with it. And the cards are like cave paintings. And I really like them. I really do. So I'd like to work with this one more. This one kind of has a system It has different suits. You can see by the colors on the borders that they're different suits. So I'd like to read the entire guidebook, get to know this deck better, and work with it more. The last oracle deck I'd like to work with more is the Wisdom Keepers, which is everywhere right now. This one, I am not so sure I'm as gung-ho about the book on this one. So I need to actually give it a chance. I need to work with it and see how it's going to work for me. Day 13 was the tarot decks I'd be working with in 2017. I should have said this with my oracle decks, but I really want to work with all of my tarot decks in 2017. If I'm not working with them, I want to move them on and pass them on to somebody who might use them. I pulled out the tarot decks that I really thought I wanted to get to know better, that maybe hadn't seen any love from me in a while, and I wanted to spend some time with them. So these aren't the tarot decks that I absolutely love, and I know I'm absolutely going to pull out, like my Ellis deck and my Hezekiah's Tarot, my brand new Bonefire. I know I'm going to work with those. But these are some that have really nice guidebooks as well, that I want to actually kind of study the decks, not just use them for readings, but I actually want to study them. So the first one is the Sacred Rose. I have a vintage copy of the Sacred Rose. You can find these on eBay. They're not too expensive if you want a vintage one. I don't see an advantage in a vintage one, other than you might be able to get one for less than the cost of a brand new deck. Well, this one is not an expensive deck. The colors are beautiful, but it definitely has its own sort of distinct voice and way of speaking. And the reason that I wanted to work with this deck, it was Pathways and Possibilities, who was showing this deck a great deal and talking about what the author said about the cards. Pathways and Possibilities had some really great things to say about this deck, and oddly enough, I had this deck. I had a new copy of this deck, and about 9 months ago, I did a big purge and I gave away a bunch of decks, and that was one of the decks that I gave away. It was the Sacred Rose. But after seeing her videos, I had to get it again. And I got 2 books that are both out of print, sadly, but are, again, easy to get on eBay and not expensive. The first one is Reveal the Secrets of the Sacred Rose. Is that by Stephen Colbert? This book came out shortly after the deck did, and it's not written by the author. It gives more traditional meanings, more standard meanings for the cards of the Sacred Rose, but I haven't finished reading the whole book. And then there's another book that was published, I don't know, about 10 years after the deck was published, A Guide to the Sacred Rose Tarot. And this one's actually written by the author, the deck author. The next one I want to work with more is The Lover's Path Tarot. Sorry about the glare. By Chris Walder. This is the same person who did the Goddess Tarot, I believe it is. I really love these cards. I really like the artwork. This is all, this is another kind of like the Mythic, where it's about mythical lovers. And what's really cool about this deck is while the cards pretty much retain the Rider-Waite-Smith meanings, some of the imagery on these decks is a little less scary than it is in a standard one. So like the Tower has a different name, and the Devil has a different name, and I think even Judgment has a different name. So that they would be really good to use for people who, it might be their first experience with tarot, or they might be a little scared. See, like here, this is the Hanged Man, and it's called Sacrifice. And there's a myth that goes to this image and these 2 people, which is Orpheus and Eurydice. And I'm really interested to learn. I've been reading the guidebook for the Mythic Tarot, and it's been just fascinating, and has helped me understand the cards better in understanding the myths that they associated with the cards. So I'm hoping that this will do the same. So here, this is the Emperor. It's called Power, and it's Arthur and Guinevere. Just really, really cool. I did trim this deck. It had white borders. The white borders on the front weren't that obnoxious, the white borders on the back with a dark red background were highly obnoxious. So I took the white borders off I had to take the white borders off the front. I couldn't take the white borders all the way off the back, which is why it has been rebacked with contact paper. So there we go. And I did go onto eBay again and get an older version of the Lover's Path that has a full book that goes with it, so we have a better explanation of the myths. Another deck I want to spend more time with this year is the Marielle. And this one's still in order. I bought this one secondhand. Oh, the glare. Off of eBay. I got it secondhand, which I thought was great because I wasn't really certain about this deck. There are some cards in it that I think are gorgeous and I absolutely love. And there are other cards that I think are just disturbing and creepy. So I'm not sure at all about this deck, so I'm glad I got it secondhand with no box and didn't pay that much money for it. But it scares me a little bit, so I think that's why some of the images that I find creepy, I think I'm just intimidated by the images. But we all know the Marielle. Another one with a great guidebook. I want to give that one a try. That Hermit is beautiful. Got two more decks that I want to spend some special time with in 2017. The next is the Intuitive Tarot. That's the top of the box. By Scylla Conway. Another one that I bought secondhand off of eBay. This one is just fascinating to me. It's a little, I don't know, the artwork looks a little frothy, but I haven't read the book, so I'm not sure. But the images are just intriguing. It's the wheel. Isn't that cool? They're all encased in a little oval, so it's like you're peering into a world, I don't know, maybe where you don't belong, or maybe that you're trying to gain access to. But again, it comes with a really excellent guidebook. Chunky, big guidebook. So another one that I want to study. I want to actually read the guidebook and understand what the artist was saying. Then the last deck of the decks that I have right now that I want to spend some more time with in 2017 is the Nature Spirit Tarot. This is by Jean Marie Herzl. It is a huge deck. These cards are huge. I have big hands. These cards are huge. They are all birds and insects, and I think that's it. Birds and insects, and flowers and plants, some stones, and fish. I knew there was something else. There might be a few amphibians in here as well. But it's an animal deck, but it has no mammals. That's the thing, is it? Oh God, I love that sun card. And it is just exquisite. And again, it comes with an amazing guidebook that talks in great detail about all of the different animals and plants that she chose to put in the card. It's just amazing. So I want to spend some more time with that one too. Next question, day 14. The court card you would date, marry, have as a best friend, and mortal enemy. This was fun. And I looked and looked through my tarot deck collection for one of those decks of, you know, really gorgeous looking people all over the tarot deck and hunky yummy yummies. I don't have any decks like that. So the best I could do, or what I chose, maybe not the best I could do, but what I chose was a deck I see very little. It's called the Tarot of Inspiration, or Tarot Inspiration. Tarot of Inspiration. It's a Russian deck that it's a painting collage deck, very similar to like the Touchstone or the Golden Tarot by Cat Black. It's just a different interpretation and sometimes different paintings. So I'm using this deck to show the cards that I would date, marry, have as a best friend, and a mortal enemy. And let's start with date. I don't know that I would call it dating, the Knight of Swords. I'd call it, let's go have a good time, to be delicate. I want to go have some fun with him, and then when he leaves, no big deal. Wasn't that invested. Let's just go have some fun. The card that I would marry, the King of Pentacles. Nice, steady guy with lots of money and a good head on his shoulders. The Knight would be acceptable as well, but I think the King would be better one to marry. Have as a best friend, I'm going to go with the Queen of Cups. Isn't she just lovely? Don't you just think she would be so much fun to talk to? So, Queen of Cups is my best friend. And my mortal enemy, I picked this one mostly because of the particular image in this deck. This is the Queen of Swords. I just have a feeling she and I wouldn't get along very well. Not that other people who identify with the Queen of Swords I don't get along with, I do. But this particular Queen of Swords, I just don't think she would like me very much. So I think she'd be my mortal enemy. And as a bonus, the reason I bought this deck, that Devil card. All right, that's days 8 through 14 of Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot. I will see you all again next week. Bye.